Hi there, good morning. My name's Hannah. I am 34 years old and I live in Manchester in the UK. It's starting to sound like a dodgy dating video, which is not meant to be. I've been suffering from psoriasis since I was 16 years old. And my reason for making this video and putting it on YouTube and linking it to my website is because just over a month ago, I found something which has completely changed my life. If you're looking for a psoriasis cure at the moment, you have probably been through the millions of different treatments and products and scam websites and everything else. So first of all, just to prove that I am completely genuine, because I've been there a million times with, looking for the answer and this is the latest $30 cure, here are my before pictures. So you can see from those pictures, I was covered here across my stomach, the inside of my arms. This was a flare that I had this year. It followed Christmas and New Year, so I've been drinking loads. Your diet's never really the best over that time of year. I split up from quite an emotionally draining relationship towards the end of last year. My dad wasn't well, so there was kind of a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stress. My diet probably wasn't the best because I was doing a lot of running around. So, you're picking up takeaway foods or making quick pasta meals, and this is everything that's wrong for your skin. And I was drinking a lot, and I was also drinking a lot of Diet Coke. So there was alcohol, Diet Coke. There were a lot of different things going on in my life at the time. This was the worst flare that I have ever had. I've had plaque psoriasis for most of my life, which has kind of been down both arms, on my legs, but it became not manageable, but livable with. I'd learned how to cover up, wear long sleeves. I had it on the back of my hands, so I used to pull my sleeves down quite a lot to cover it up. And actually, even close friends didn't realise how badly it affected me, but I could get away with it, especially in the winter. You throw a jumper on and nobody would know any different. But the flare-up that I had this year was completely different. My psoriasis has never really itched or hurt, but this flare-up, I'll show you the pictures again because you can see like the redness in my skin, and it was so dry, almost like elephant skin. Really painful, incredibly painful. I'll show you the pictures again. So you can see, the kind of pale skin on the inside of your arms, that was all red, and my stomach was probably the most painful. I couldn't sleep at night. I mean, it got to the point where I was awake between 5 and 10 times, maybe even more per night. I've got friends who work nights, so I was texting and, because it was pointless trying to go to sleep because I just couldn't sleep. And I was trying everything. Chamomile lotion, putting loads of moisturiser on before I went to bed to try and stop the pain and the itching, trying to have a bath before I went to bed to, put some oils into my skin, maybe calm it down. I was trying absolutely everything. And it really affected me. I didn't want to go out socially. Of course, I was single, so the last thing I wanted to do was meet a guy. That horrible conversation about why your skin looks like it does. I just didn't want to go through any of that. So I decided to start doing some research, and I started looking on the internet, which, the doctors say, oh, you can't self-diagnose, or, oh, the cures aren't on the internet. Maybe back in the 90s they weren't, but now we've got so much information. We can share so much with people in forums and on videos, and, there's so much alternative information out there that it's just worth reading because, it's just changed my life completely. So my reason for recording this video is because I know that reading through loads of information on a website can sometimes be difficult. So the idea with the videos that I'm going to record is so that you can literally hit play and listen to it in the background whilst you're getting on with other stuff. And I just hope that it will inspire you to give this a try. I really do. I've shown you the before pictures. Take a look at my pictures just 30 days after I started this plan. The change is incredible. This is my stomach and my arm, which you saw in the pictures before, were horrendous after just 30 days. So there you go. You can see the change is incredible. That's just 30 days. It doesn't hurt anymore. My skin feels soft. The change is just unbelievable. If someone had said to me 30 days ago, that's how your skin's going to look, I would have struggled to believe them. In fact, I said a month ago when I started this plan, if I don't see any change in 30 days, I'm going to order the biggest pizza and drink a full bottle of wine to myself. I was so miserable and fed up, you know, and the thought of going on a really strict diet on top of everything else, I just thought, if this doesn't work, you know, what am I going to do? So I didn't naively fully believe this, you know, I wasn't blindly sort of, a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, thoughts and positive thinking really help, and I'm sure they do. But what I'm trying to say is if you're skeptical, try this anyway, because I believe it will work for you. The theory behind changing your lifestyle and changing your diet when it comes to psoriasis is one which very few doctors recognise. And part of the reason I was inspired to record my videos was through a guy called Nick Lamborghini on YouTube, whose videos I came across when I was trying to look for an answer. And Nick's videos really helped me. I've since spoke to Nick. We've chatted and shared ideas, and he really helped me with my diet at the beginning and gave me some great advice. And his videos answered a lot of questions for me. My doctors have constantly said this is nothing to do with diet. You know, you won't change. In fact, when I was 16, 17, you know, they weren't even acknowledging smoking as a factor. Later on, they weren't acknowledging drinking as a factor. Now, at least alcohol is getting some recognition as a factor. But of course, when they're saying alcohol doesn't have any bearing on it, diet doesn't have any bearing on it, and you're already going through this problem, you think, oh, I'm not, you know, that's the last thing I'm going to do then is, you know, stop drinking and change my diet because it's not going to help. You almost kid yourself into believing it. All I'm going to say is try it. Please try it for just 30 days, because I guarantee it will change your life. I had no hope. I was so miserable. You know, the doctors, again, the usual cycle of, oh, hydrocortisone and throwing steroid creams at me, which I stopped using a long time ago anyway. I was on a cycle of Dovonex, hydrocortisone, oil-atum for in the bath, E45 cream on prescription. You've probably been there through all these meds. And actually in the UK, you know, we're fortunate we've got the NHS, so the prescriptions are either part paid for, or you can pay, you know, a quarterly fee to get your prescriptions free of charge, which I know isn't the case in America where it's expensive. But even then, you know, you're just putting something on your skin. And I don't believe the problem is your skin. The symptom is your skin, and that's what we see. But I truly believe the problem is inside. I think that's where the issue starts. And so all you're doing by applying these steroids is kind of suppressing the problem. And they even use, you know, immunosuppressants. I wasn't at that stage yet, but I know a lot of people that have been on immune suppressing drugs. So that you're suppressing your immune system. You're not renewing it, rejuvenating it, detoxing it, and allowing your body to start again. You're constantly suppressing the problem. So what's going to happen when you stop the drugs? You know, your skin's going to go crazy because all of a sudden it's going to flare up again. So for me, steroids definitely were not the answer. And I just think if you're constantly suppressing the problem, it's like an early warning system. You know, the skin is warning us something isn't quite right inside. So rather than try and mask that or try and tell it it's fine and put cream on your skin, listen to what it's telling you about your body and try and clear it from the inside out. That's my theory behind it. It's probably one that, you know, many doctors don't subscribe to, but all I can say is, you know, it's absolutely worked for me. And having been there and watched lots of videos myself in the past and read lots of websites, and as I say, the $30 miracle cures, I just kind of want to prove it to you. You know, you've seen my pictures, but that's clear skin. You know, for me, that's clear. There's some scarring at the moment, but even that's fading. And you know, I'm 35 days into the plan today, so you know, already it's made a huge difference. And for me, this is something I've suffered with for 20 years. So to be able to make a change that quickly in 1 month is incredible. So that's enough waffling on for this video. In my next video, I'm going to explain exactly what it is you need to do to change your life. If this is something you want to try for yourself, check out my website. My Twitter account is @SkinSense as well. It's spelt with a P at the beginning. So P and then Skin Sense, as in the PS for psoriasis at the beginning. Have a look on my Twitter. Loads of other people trying this method at the moment as well, so I can't wait to see their results.